Hello my beautiful people, welcome to your weekly general overview with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for being here with me, and thank you so much for all of you that wished me well while I was on my travels. I had an absolute blast. I feel rested and refreshed somewhat. With that said, if you would like to book a personal tarot reading with me, you can do so on the website address below. If you are not on my mailing list, then you are not getting that monthly newsletter, which is also another tarot reading. Just like I do a weekly general overview, I do a monthly general overview, but I only do it for the email. So with that said, Tribal Tuesday is back. We had some amazing transformations. I truly believe it is one of the best things, if not the best thing that I have ever done. I would love to have you there. You can find all of the details about Tribal Tuesday in the description box below. Check out the page on my website labeled Tribal Tuesday. With that said, thank you so much for all of your likes, your shares, your comments, your subscription. It truly means the world. And if this resonates with you and you love it, please hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you as part of the Reydiant Reality family. So before we start, as always, I would like to bless all of my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help us all on our paths to our highest vibrational good. So let's see what the week ahead has in store for us. What is going on in this weekly general overview? What is going on for the world, across the world, in the world, and for the world? And this week we get the Emperor, right? So this is going to be a week, I mean, we can already see it shaping up, to be fair. This will be the week where I do believe we will probably see some of the lawmakers and some of the lawmakers and law holders. We will probably see some clashes this week. So the Destiny card being the Emperor, this is about legal things. It's about law. It's about the institutions of law. It's about police officers, soldiers, all of that sort of stuff. And it's also about education, right? So this could be the things that are really coming into the fore this week. Now, like I said, the feeling that I get from this, the people and the positions or the establishments of power, I feel like there's going to be a bit of a struggle of it this week. And I mean, you know, the only good that can come from that is that the people get listened to, and ultimately that they feel like they actually have a voice, right? That's really important for all of us. And that's actually a really good point for making to segue. So on the microcosmic level, on a personal level, the Emperor represents where you pioneer something or where you stand up to be counted. It's where you draw that line in the sand and say, this is as far as you will go. And it also, the thing about the Emperor, he's got advisors, viziers, as they called them in the old world. He's got friends, family, you know, he's got people dripping out of his bloody ears and his pockets, to be quite frank. But the decision that is made, the final decision, always has to rest on his shoulders. You know the saying, heavy is the head that wears the crown? It was made for the Emperor. I really believe that. You know, that is truly it. You see the way there he's sitting, he's contemplating, he's deep in thought. He takes in all of the information, weighs it up, utilises that energy, and then says, right, okay, this is the decision. This is the way that we are going to proceed. And one of the marks of a really great leader or ruler is to understand that there are people that are smarter than you in the world, right? So this works on a macrocosmic level. I really hope that the Emperor is saying that some of the people at the top are going to open up a dialogue and say, you know what, we actually don't know enough, right? We need more of an input from a much broader, wider demographic in order to make better decisions. Now, the Emperor is number 4. And as I'm talking about this, I keep seeing those 4 women in the States all stood up and speaking in unison. They all have very different backgrounds, very different, not very different viewpoints, but you know, they're from different diverse backgrounds. They represent different things for different people, different parts of the same demographic. But what I love about it is they have a strong core of unison that is about the people. Right, so that's just on you know, in one particular place in the world. On the macrocosmic level, on the wider world stage, this week I really do feel that the people are going to get restless, and the people at the top are going to have no choice but to listen. Otherwise, they're going to be looking at something that could possibly get out of hand. Now, on another level, like I said, the Emperor represents education. And I feel like this is something that we are going to see really brought into question this week. How much are our children actually learning? How much value is truly in university or the institution of learning? Is there something that we can do better? And the word that I keep hearing over my mind is skills. I really feel like this week we might see some form of a development come forward where people say, you know what? Traditional schooling isn't for everybody. How can we utilize people's skills in a better way? You might even see as well, somebody put forward a proposal where they say, look, you know what? Let's do something that runs alongside traditional academia, but something that transcends it in that it will be, it will open up a line of work for people who want or need better from life. Right? And what do I mean by that? There's nothing wrong with education. It's a brilliant thing. It's a wonderful thing that we can learn, right? That we have the opportunity to learn. Not everybody does across the world, I'm sad to say, that, and that makes me really heavy-hearted actually. But there are some people who don't fit the academic criteria, who probably never will. So do we give up on them just because they don't fit the usual mold? No, we don't. Utilize the skills that they have and turn those into their money-making ideas, their winning ideas. Just give them an opportunity to not feel like they're not, they're outside of society. So I'm going on a bit of a rant now anyway, so I will tone it down, but you kind of get my drift. I feel like there's going to be a shake-up of the education system this week ahead. And I really feel like it's going to have a lot of points that some are really sore for people. Others will be brilliant because they really raise awareness. Now, the direction. Let's have a look, see what's going on. Right, in the direction. How does this shape up? What does it likely pertain to? Right, let's give the Destiny card some context. We've got the Hermit card, right? So this is interesting, right? Because I talked about education, and the Hermit card is a quest for knowledge, right? And this is the whole thing. When you get the Hermit card, it sees you going within, it sees you withdrawing from the world. But we're talking about a weekly general overview. So this is about making firm and hard decisions that are going to have ripples, echoes, and consequences in the real world, but doing it in a way that comes from within. So this is about taking all of the information like the Emperor does, weighing it all up and sifting and sorting through it and saying, does this actually work? This is where actually any plans that are presented this week by governments, by people at the top, by heads of corporations and all the rest of it, this week they could very well find themselves being questioned quite heavily. Not because people want to make trouble or nitpick or anything like that, but we want to know if it works. Yes, it's a great proposal. Yes, it sounds wonderful. Yes, Mr. Emperor, you know what? It looks brilliant on paper. Does it stand up in the light of day? Does it do what it says on the tin? Does it quite frankly do what it says it's going to do? Right? And this is the thing with the Hermit card. It is that withdrawal, but because it represents Virgo, it takes you really deep into the minutiae. So anything that's presented this week, be very scrutinizing over it. Listen to what you're being told. Don't necessarily act on it. Don't even necessarily speak too much on it. But, and this is now on a personal level, whatever is presented to you this week, go through it with a fine tooth comb. Whatever is presented to you this week, listen to your feelings, listen to your gut instinct and ask yourself, does that make sense? Utilize your cognitive dissonance. If there is a gap between what somebody is saying and what it actually is, like I said, you don't have to point out that the Emperor's got no clothes on. Some people might. Aquarius! As many of you know, I am an Aquarius, right? So that's what we do. We tend to point things out. Whatever. We're not the only sign either, so don't get all judgmental. I see you out there. But yeah, it really does look like this week we're going to be presented with some stuff, possibly from people in all positions of authority. So on a personal level, this could be your boss, it could be your superiors, it could be colleagues that are in positions that are higher than you, supervisors, all of that sort of stuff. It could even be people of an official nature. So, you know, this could be anything from a police officer to a doctor. The Hermit card as the direction is saying, use your cognitive dissonance. Pay attention to what is actually being said to you. Because we are in a Mercury retrograde, so there may be some crossed wires for sure. But it's almost like the feeling that I get from this is it's like people are going to be saying one thing and we're all going to be looking at it and saying, no, that doesn't make sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's, as an example, I remember being at school once and the teacher was obviously doing a lesson that they'd planned over and over in their heads and was just going on, and what they'd written on the board was not what was coming out of their mouths, and everyone was a bit like, we'll just go with it. And I was like, no, that doesn't make sense. Like, you've written this and you're saying this, and she was like, oh, okay, do you see what I mean? And we're under a Mercury retrograde, so nobody's mind is working at full capacity. So just check in with your feelings. If something doesn't feel right, I mean, we have just come off that lunar eclipse. We do have Pluto and Saturn in the sky doing their thing in Capricorn. The South Node is hanging out there as well. So the chances are there could be some people this week that are literally just being deceitful for the sake of it. Whatever that sake of it might mean or be, or, you know, whatever the end result might be for them is irrelevant, you know. So be discerning this week. Really go into yourself and listen to your gut instinct. Pay attention to your thoughts, your feelings. When somebody presents information to you, really scrutinize it, take it through the mill, you know, shred it, put it back together, and then shred it again, and then put it back together again. If it stands up to all of that, then you know that what you're being told or what you're being offered is real, right? It's doing what it says it's going to do. Oh, look at that. So we've had two jumping cards. We've got the Two of Swords and we've got the Devil card. Right, so the Two of Swords suggests that this week your decisions, because it falls with the Emperor in close proximity, this week your decisions have to be your own. This is not a week where you want to give away your power. It's not a week where you want to say like, oh, well, I only did that because you, or look what you made me do, or look what they've made me do. Nuh-uh. Can't do that this week. You have to take full ownership. You have to take full ownership of your decisions this week and allow yourself not to be swayed by what you're being told. If it doesn't make sense to you, if you're hearing words and the actions and the deeds are not matching up, something about it is off, then you either speak up or get the fuck out of Dodge. Like, it is literally just that as it stands, right? And it's funny because as I'm saying this, there's one particular situation in my life that literally is going over in my mind and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll be stamping that out today. So really interesting. And then the Devil card, what are you attached to, right? It might be that what comes up this week shakes you to your core, and it shakes something that you have held on to or been a part of or involved with for quite some time. And the Devil card is saying, are you really ready to let go? It looks like someone or something this week is going to give you the challenge, and it's going to highlight to you where you are either unable or unwilling to release something. With that Two of Swords there, it has to be a conscious decision to let go of something that deep down you know is not going to serve you in any way, shape or form. And I think I've just made the decision. So that's what I've got for you this week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up for you. What do you feel? You know, really pay attention to this. And even if this week you watch this reading and you say, actually, Raph, you know what? I'm not sure I buy what you're saying. Fair play. You know what? I will take my hat off to you. You know, like I said, what feels right to you, Question everything this week. Don't be paranoid and drive yourself mad and throw the baby out with the bathwater and, you know, hide behind the curtains and do the whole curtain twitcher thing. Don't drive yourself mad, but do question things this week. Do pay attention to what you're being told. And when I say what you're being told, this isn't just about what you're hearing or the words that somebody's using. Look at their body language. Listen to the words that they use. Listen to the inflection and the tone in their voice. Trust your gut to give you all of the information of whether something is the right decision for you or the wrong decision for you. It will never ever steer you wrong. And the thing about the Hermit card, it rules Virgo, or is ruled by Virgo. So therefore, it represents your digestive system. What is your digestive system also known as? Your gut. Trust it. It will never steer you wrong. So with that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know. Take care. I'll see you soon.